Well, what a year it has been. 2025. Um, if you're a Trump supporter, you're not going to like what I'm about to say. And quite frankly, I could care less. Couldn't care less what you think. Because quite honestly, you have betrayed our country in a way that will never be forgiven. By supporting a man who has so clearly destroyed what this nation is all about at a level that I don't think we'll ever fully repair. Let me go ahead and say this. Why is it that a man and his administration has ruined the very moral and ethical standards that we're supposed to hold our public officials to in the administration? He has destroyed the civil service and putting in lackeys that'll just do his bidding, who won't stand up to him when he is wrong. And he is clearly wrong on so many things, especially these stupid, asinine tariffs. It's clearly hurting our economy, clearly causing massive layoffs, clearly going to turn us into a massive recession that will make 2008 look good. And maybe even worse. And I remember 2008. Those were some scary times. If you don't remember them, you need to have a little history lesson. Because a lot of that stuff is coming around again. Because all Trump has done is basically taken out all the rules and let all these corporations do whatever they want. And guess who's going to pay for it? You and me. Why? Because prices are still skyrocketing. Not just at the grocery store, not just at the gas pump, even though the gas has prices have kind of stayed relatively the same. But who's to say that won't change? I mean, if Iran gets frisky or Trump wants to get frisky with Iran, or maybe even another Gulf country, who's to say? Or hell, maybe Saudi Arabia, Iran have a little disagreement. Next thing you know, all hell's going to break loose. Remember earlier this year that Iran threatened to attack Saudi Arabia for, I can't even remember what it was, but there was actually concern that a WWE pay-per-view may not take place there. So, yeah. But think about this. The ethical standards that are supposed to be upheld within the presidential administration have been relegated away from this administration because they don't want to have any rules. And there's such obvious profit being made off of this. And his supporters are like, oh, that's perfectly fine. You know, they assume every president's done it. No, they have not. No, not even close to this extent. And anybody else would have crucified Obama for even 1/1000th of what Trump has done. But his supporters they see him as he can do no wrong. Oh, let's go own the libs today. For what? Ruining the economy, ruining the Constitution, ruining the very fabric of law and order. They've thrown out due process for these ICE arrests. They've gone into big cities with these National Guards for what? They say, oh, this crime is rampant. And all these National Guardsmen are just sitting around going, okay, what are we supposed to do? All this wasted money, all this performative politics, it's so stupid. It's one of those things that if you stop fucking watching Fox News or all these other right-wing propaganda outlets and start actually watching regular news, or at least a cross-section, you will realize, A, these big cities aren't nearly as bad as you think. Yeah, they've got problems with crime. But so do a lot of other big cities and even small towns. Hell, my small town is a really big... I'll be honest with you. I would feel safer in Chicago and Portland and New York than in my hometown right now walking at night. One of the small hometowns in my area, Spindale, North Carolina, I would not walk at night in that for late. It has a population of 4,500 roughly. No way in hell I would walk at night in that place because it's overrun with drugs and crime. Why? Because when the mills closed 30 years ago, nothing came around to replace it, and a lot of drugs came in, a lot of corruption came in, and nobody's doing a damn thing about it. And guess what? They're all Republicans too. It's been Republicans pretty much for 30 years. And they have not done a damn thing to make things, but the taxes, by the way, are still going up, by the way. The property taxes are still going up. The jobs aren't here. I mean, we have jobs, but they don't pay worth a damn. I mean, yeah, there are a few places that do have decent paying jobs, but not nearly enough. People have left the county. And they want to do this to the entire damn nation. I could go on and on. They've done so much damage to this country's intellectual. Because they want to have a war on the woke universities and all this jazz. You know, first of all, basic empathy is a good thing. But no, Elon Musk considers it the rotting away of Western civilization, or whatever crap that is. You know, I thought Trump and Elon Musk weren't on good terms anymore. I guess they're back on being good buddies again. His whole Doge thing didn't save a dime. Sent a whole lot of people home and ruined and wrecked a bureaucracy that, far from perfect, actually was doing some good for the most part. And now it's not, because it's so wrecked and ruined, because they want to destroy it so they can privatize everything and make a buck off of it. When are you going to realize the private sector doesn't have all the answers? When are you going to realize corporate America is no better, in fact, far worse than any government agency? But no, you've been brought up, oh, government's evil, government's bad, and all this, and all that crap, blah, 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 blah. No. Are corporations any better? Is privatized for-profit healthcare any better than a nationalized system in Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, and all that jazz? No. Oh, but you're waiting, Canada. No. They'll tell you don't. There are some elective things you have to wait on. But those are electives. I mean, he's a hurt our national security. He's taken what we have had as a fundamental principle of our national security, our alliance with Europe, that has been in place for decades, since the end of the Second World War. And now all of a sudden Russians are the good guys? That Europe are the bad guys? That Europe is being overrun by all these Muslims and all the, it's like, no, they're not. The French are still in control of France. The Germans are still in control of Germany. Yeah, they have immigration issues. But it's not nearly as bad as they say it is. Not nearly as bad. They want to bring about this popularist, authoritarian, right-wing garbage and make it gospel. They want to break up the EU to weaken Europe so that Russia can overwhelm them. Russia can take over Eastern Europe again. Russia can bring back its empire because Trump is a lackey for Vladimir Putin. When are you people going to realize that? There may not be a direct connection, but there are people who are close to Donald Trump who have connections with Vladimir Putin. It's that damned obvious. Wake the frack up. Wake up. When are you going to realize that this man is evil? This man does not give a damn about you. He would throw any member of his administration under the bus. He'd throw members of his own family under the bus to save himself. He is indebted up to his ass. He is making money to support his financial empire because it's so fucking in debt, it's not even funny. And yet you turn a blind eye to it because it makes you, oh, I can be racist again. I can be openly bigoted again. And it's cool now. Being a bigot's cool now. DEI bad. DEI bad. We can't let these black people have equal standing with white people. We can't let these gay people think they're normal and all. It's like, it infuriates me to the point where I'm like literally ready to just leave. And I never, in my 54 fucking years on this earth, ever thought I'd say that. Never in my life have I ever thought to leave. Until now. Why? Because I honestly don't think, even if Trump gets deposed tomorrow, even if the whole thing collapses, how can you trust that it won't happen again? How can Europe ever trust us again? How can Australia ever trust us again? New Zealand, our allies. How can anybody trust? How can Mexico trust us again? Canada. It's going to take decades to rebuild that trust. Not just years, decades. It will not, if a Democratic president comes about in 2029, whoever that is, it's going to take them at least 8 years to even begin to start repairing some of the damage that Trump has done this year. And he's got another 3 years to go. Unless he keels over and dies. And even then, you've got his vice president, J.D. Vance, who is a lackey for Peter Thiel and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and all these other people who want this libertarian hellscape where the rich own everything, and they want that second Gilded Age so bad to where the average working folk have no rights. You have no overtime pay. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. It angers me deeply, ladies and gentlemen. It angers me deeply. And you want to know why? Do you want to know why? Because I was born and raised in this country for 54 years. And this country has done a lot of great things and a lot of not so great things. Every great country has its flaws. The Roman Empire had its flaws. It eventually had its downfall. Great Britain had its flaws. All these other great countries have their flaws. And they've recognized it, and they fixed it, or trying to fix it, and they have to deal with the aftermath of it. We've made a lot of mistakes in this country. But how do you grow if you don't make mistakes? There are a lot of things we've done in the past that looked like they were a great idea, that maybe they were not a great idea. Maybe removing all these Native Americans off of their land so the white folks could have it wasn't such a great idea. Maybe the way we took all that land from Mexico wasn't such a great idea. And the way we did it. We can't recognize that maybe there are some things we've done that weren't that great. And Trump wants to make American history look, so perfect. We never did anything wrong. How stupid are people? We have made mistakes. We have, and to teach this whitewashed version of history is stupid. What it's going to mean is these kids are eventually going to find out the truth, and they're going to go back and look, why didn't the teacher tell me about this? Well, your teacher was told not to, because they are told, you've got to teach it this way. We can't even let teachers teach anymore. They got to do this off this off this script, this pre-approved script that they have to, and they've set the public education system, which once was the envy of the world, and they have ruined it. They've ruined it. We used to be a great country. I remember 15 years ago, wasn't it? Is it 15 years ago that Jeff Daniels starred in the newsroom and had a great rant in that first episode, in the opening scene of the episode. And he put it out there about why America wasn't the greatest country anymore. We're not. And we sure as hell ain't now. Trump's not making us great again. He's making himself rich off of us. And you won't see that. You don't want to see that because you have this idea that whites being in power makes us great again. No, it doesn't. You're relegating a majority of people, white women, black people, Hispanic people, gay people, transgender people, you're relegating them to second-class tier status because you're white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, sorry ass can't stand being on a level with somebody else. All I ask is for you to stop watching this right-wing propaganda, Fox News, Newsmax, all this other junk, and understand they're lying to you. I have my bone to pick with traditional media as well. And here's the thing. A lot of these right-wing people are starting to buy traditional media. CBS has been compromised. CNN looks to be compromised soon as well, if this WBD merger happens with Paramount Plus. I mean, now they're saying Netflix is wanting to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, but the president wants to block it. I don't even know if you can even trust traditional media anymore because their corporate masters are basically twisting it to their own agendas. The newsrooms are not independent anymore. They used to be independent. They used to be able to report the news impartially. They can't do that anymore because their corporate masters want to have their say. And most of them love Trump because Trump equals ratings. And we have a president who's so fucking vile, he will insult people who dare stand up to him. I would love for Sam Donaldson. I know Sam Donaldson's older than Methuselah. He's probably not in the best of health right now. I would love for one time Sam Donaldson to go to the White House for ABC News and put questions to Donald Trump. Because even in Sam Donaldson's older than Methuselah and all that, he would rip apart Donald Trump. Sam Donaldson back in the 70s and 80s, Dan Rather in the 70s with Nixon. We need reporters like that. Again. We don't. Because they're afraid they won't get access. Where's your balls, media? Where's your balls? This man is openly corrupt. Blatantly corrupt. Oh, he's selling Bitcoin and crypto and all this jazz. You're not supposed to profit off your office. And he's doing it so blatantly obvious that it's not even funny. For the first time in my life, I don't feel so proud to be an American anymore. Not so much about Trump, but because of the people who support him. They have sacrificed what makes this country great to embellish their own biases, embellish their own bigotry, to make themselves feel like they're special. And it's a fucking lie. And I'll be honest with you. I'm fed up. If I could leave, I would. And I never, ever imagined that I ever think about that. I love this country. But I loved my ex-fiancée once upon a time. And she broke my heart. America's breaking my heart right now. Her government's breaking my heart. A lot of Americans who claim to be real Americans are breaking my heart because they're not real Americans. They're not even real Christians. They're ruining both. And there comes a time when you just get fed up. And I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of it. I would leave. Not forever. I'd like to eventually come back. I wouldn't give up my American citizenship. I would just maybe live in Ireland for a while, maybe Australia, maybe New Zealand. Wouldn't do Canada because, in all honesty, I don't trust Trump. And if he gets his back pushed against the wall, he may decide to invade Canada for whatever made up reason, and try to annex Alberta or something like that. And the sad, crazy part is, 10 years ago, that would have sounded insane. Now it's like, you can't discount the possibility. He changed the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America for no reason whatsoever. It's insane. We're damned if we do, damned if we don't. God help us all. God bless this country. Because we need God to come back and clean out the crap. Especially the ones who claim that they're doing His work when in reality they're not. That's it for now. Bye.